Hi and welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you've been following along, this is the second video of my relocation playlist. Yesterday I created a playlist showing how the whole process involved in relocating from Nigeria to the Netherlands to continue working for my company, and you can check the first video, which is just basically an introduction of what the next couple of videos would entail. And this is the second video where I talk about getting the relocation job. For those that don't know, I am a front-end developer advocate at Stream. And developer advocacy is like a subset of developer relations, and you can check what that entails. I shared my bits in this video. So as a developer advocate at Stream, my work is to make our SDKs as simple, as easy to use as possible. I do this through creating content like videos, articles, podcasts, content of different forms. And this is a job that actually aligns so much with my interest, with my passion, because I love creating content, and I've been creating content for a while, and I'm happy to finally do it on an official space, contributing to the growth of a company and to the growth of the company's product. So yeah, that's who I am, and now let me share how I got this developer advocate job. I also want to put it out here that I wasn't looking for a relocation job. I mean, I was open to both opportunities, remote and relocation, but that relocation wasn't even in my filter search or anything. I was actually looking for a remote job and checking different platforms, just looking for a space where I could go into the developer advocacy space and become better at developer advocacy, and maybe from time to time fly out for conferences or for company events. So finally getting this job, finally getting the offer, and then my company asking, would you want a remote job or a relocation job? I saw the relocation job as a better option, and then I went for it. So when I started actively job hunting, I went to different platforms. I went to LinkedIn jobs, Stack Overflow jobs, Angel Lists, WeWorkRemotely.com, SitePoint. I mean, I was in many platforms, popular and unpopular, in my search, but I didn't get any interviews in any of these platforms. I mean, you could try them out, your case may be different. What worked for me was startup.jobs, and the reason why I like startup.jobs is, unlike other platforms, it kind of looked like startup.jobs didn't have limited options. Like in other platforms, when I try to search for maybe a mid developer advocate or maybe even junior front end, it was like their results were limited. But on startup.jobs, it was like there were so many, and that was specifically why I liked startup.jobs. And you know what, let me even show you exactly how I use startup.jobs.
So this is startup.jobs, and this is why I like startup.jobs. Just basically the filter option and the number of jobs that they have. Like there's a lot of them. So this was basically what I did, developer advocates, and I came here and I clicked on remote, and when I did this I could see different developer advocates roles. For some you would see full-time, you would see contracts, checkboxes, and this was like a lot of them. And you can also come here and you can do something like junior front end, and this is remote. And well, there used to be more than this, but now you can only see two front end. You can also do senior front end and back end too, senior back end. So you can also say senior backend, and there's like a lot of them. So basically what I do is, from here I search for details about the company and then my cover letter template. So I recommend startup.jobs. It has worked for a few people that I know, and there's a lot of jobs, like I said, different filter options.
And then I began my application processes. I think I was applying for like five to seven jobs on average per day, and the reason why I couldn't apply for more per day was, applying for these jobs I had to do my own research. Like when I see a job, I see a company, I go to their website, I see what the company is about, I see if it aligns with what I am looking for. I look at the team, how many of them they are. There are just so many options I consider, and then I also come up with a cover letter. And yeah, by the way, I have this cover letter template that has worked a lot for me, and I've had 5+ people testifying to it doing wonders. And this is the link here. I'll also put it in the description so you can easily click on it. So and also, if you have your testimony, kindly reach out to me in the comments, or reach out to me anywhere with your testimony. So yeah, that's that. So I also come up with my cover letter, which is based on all of my research about these companies. So I couldn't really do it, and then coupled with my previous job, I didn't really have so much time to be repeating this process for 30 jobs in a day. So I was doing the average of 5 or 6 per day. And I think the same week or the following week, I got 3 offers, not offers, sorry. I got 3 responses for interviews. And for one of the company, I think right from the introductory interview, the first one, it was almost like, okay, I'm not sure I'm the one you actually want. So I dropped that one. They actually dropped me, not like I dropped them. And I think there were like 2 interviews that actually went on well, and I aligned with what they were looking for, Stream and another company. And the reason why I later fell through with Stream was because, first off, I was already becoming a little bit part of Stream. The interview process was fast. I was already becoming part of Stream. I already loved their product, of course. I had already started meeting with the team in the interviews, and I had already started testing the product. So it was almost like, okay, I think I have already become so much of Stream than this other company. So with how fast the whole process was at Stream, when everything finalized, I just discontinued the other process with the second company. Another thing I want to do now is to share a bit of the interview process. And a disclaimer here, I cannot really go in full details for confidential reasons, but I will share the one I was allowed to share. And so at Stream, I had a total of 5 interviews. And don't worry, these were not like 5 hectic interviews or 5 technical interviews, but it's like 5 interview meetings. And the first one was more of like introduction, where we talked about what the company was, and I also had questions. So these are the questions I usually ask companies during interviews. The first one I ask is, what are the metrics for knowing how successful I am on the job? Because for something like developer advocacy, sometimes it may be hard to identify how exactly this person is growing. So I think it differs for different companies. So I specifically ask each company about what their metrics are. I also ask about any future features for this company that they could share publicly. The reason why I usually ask this is just to know the kind of exciting things I'll be working on in the future. I also ask them, how has this company helped your career growth, just to hear from their own side and see how, okay, if this worked for you, it can also work for me. One thing I've gotten to believe interview processes to be is, I am not just coming here to offer value, I am also here to receive value. So I ask these questions because I also want to know what I can stand to gain from this company. I also ask, what is the working environment of the company like? I even ask them, what do you enjoy most about working for the company? Some of them, they say they love working remotely. Some of them, they say they love the people, the company, and things like that. Then I also ask, what would you need me to focus on within my first 30 days of joining? I ask this one so that I can know, okay, as I am coming in, this is what I am starting with. And most of them, of course, say things like, okay, get used to our product, meet the team, communicate with your manager, things like that. I also ask, how is payment handled? Like I said, I thought it was like a remote job, so I was asking how payments will be handled, because I know there could be wire transfer, there are platforms like Deal, different things. So I asked this question to be sure. Then I also ask, how do you track time? I ask if it's something where there's something tracking my screen, or it's just something where there's a platform where I can document my time, like Clockify, Toggle, if you know all of those things. So I ensure to ask that. I also ask if it's a full-time or a contract role. I think I have one interview experience like that, where on the job site it was full-time, But when I got to the interview, they were, talking about contract and things like that. So I also asked this to be sure. And then, different companies on their descriptions, on their job descriptions, they put benefits there. There are some benefits that may not be clear to me. So I always make sure to go through the benefits, and then during this interview I ask, what does this benefit exactly mean? The reason why I like introductory stages for interviews is it helps me and the company know if we truly want each other, and if we don't want each other, we can easily cut out. Like that interview I mentioned before, from the introductory I already knew that, okay, I don't want this company anymore, and they also knew too that this is not the person we're looking for. So that's why I like introductory interviews, and that's why I ensure to ask the necessary questions. So you can take a screenshot of this and use it if you want. The second interview was kind of like a technical interview, and the goal of this interview was to assess my React skills, because React was my main stack and it was what I had in my cover letter. So it was to assess my React skills, and what I was asked to do, I was asked to either bring a project of my own to discuss with 2 members of the team, or those members of the team will probably find a project online for me. So luckily for me, I had a project of my own, one I'm very proud of, and one that I made so many of the decisions myself. So I brought it to the table, and then we had this screen sharing where I went through the code base, and they questioned my decisions, why I used this framework, why I did this, how did I go about doing this, how did I go about doing that, just basic React questions to understand my React skills. I also showed them a little bit of Node.js, because the project had a front end and a back end. So I showed them a little bit of Node.js and my experience with back-end technologies. So that was the second stage. And in the third stage, I also spoke with different members of the team. That was 2. And in that stage, those were like part of the content team, or part of the DevRel team. So it was just basically getting to know me, of course, and knowing more about my content experience, and then things to prepare for in their content process. They just basically explaining their content process to me, how they go about creating content, the opportunities available for creating videos, articles, conferences, just content. That was basically the meeting. And the fourth interview was more of like an administrative interview where I could ask admin questions, and then it was the stage where they also explained the admin operations to me, where they told me how different contracts work in the company. And actually, all through this interview, I never knew there was a relocation opportunity. All along, I thought it was remote. So it was from this fourth interview, in the process of asking and clarifying admin processes, and that was where they presented the option that you would be allowed to choose between a remote opportunity where you work as a contractor, and you would have the option of working full-time with relocation. So yeah, this was where I felt like, wow, so there's something like this. So yeah, admin questions, I spoke with one of the recruitment members, and yeah, they explained all of these things to me. If I chose the option of being a contractor, they explained how I would get paid, how I would track my hours, and if I chose this other option, just admin questions in general. That was the fourth stage. And the fifth stage was a stage where, okay, you want to work as a developer advocate, you have content creation skills. So here's what we want you to do: come up with a demo application of your choice using our product, and build something with our product. And after building this thing with our product, create a wonderful README. And after creating a wonderful README, write an article, tutorial article about creating this application. So yeah, that was the point where I had to think within myself, okay, what exactly can I build? I mean, I cannot build same old, maybe a WhatsApp chat or something. I had to just figure a very beautiful use case. And yeah, I came up with something, I presented it to the team, and in the last meeting, maybe the 6th interview, and that was when I spoke with the team, and that was where they asked me which one I'd love to choose, and then I said I would go for the relocation option. And that was basically the interview process for me. So for anyone coming into this kind of role, developer advocacy, what I'll just say you should prepare for is ensure that you have content creation skills, and you also have a background of creating content, because I feel like in this interview what really made me stand out was my history of creating content from 2 years ago, my YouTube channel, and also my desire to learn more. So I think these were all the things that counted for me. So if you're coming to a similar role, I think these are things you should prepare for. That is that with how I got this job. I know there are probably people from front-end development or back-end development or other departments that watch this video, and I tried so much not to only share the things that were particular about developer advocacy. So I hope that different people that watch this video are able to pick different things from, okay, the whole making research about the companies. I feel like some people don't do this part. Some people just apply to 50 jobs and they don't really make research about this company. So I feel like hopefully you have been able to pick one or two things from what I have shared. And for those also interested in developer advocacy, you have seen, okay, the things to watch out for, or the possible things that may happen in interviews. Thanks for watching. If you found this helpful, kindly subscribe, kindly like, kindly share, and watch out for my next video where I talk about the whole visa process.